literally mining digital gold. So I'm going to sell shovels to the gold miners. I remember waking up in the morning, I'm like, did I dream that? Having to sell all my coins at like a $3,100 low to cover payroll.
Hey guys, I'm Vosk here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. I'm here with Scot Johnson, the owner, founder of Digital Shovel. And really, Scott, tell us your story, man. Like, what has it been like building a Bitcoin business for 7 years now?
A roller coaster, in a word. I mean, a fun roller coaster, but yeah, it's been a journey. Learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about people, learned a lot about the process of building things. Yeah, but it's been amazing. I wouldn't change anything. I mean, okay, I would change some things, but for the most part, I wouldn't change anything. It's been awesome to see the business grow. It's been awesome to see the people grow. I think the people growing part is something I enjoy a lot. We didn't talk a whole lot about it, but seeing some of the staff that came in as juniors or entry-level roles, or Persia, who started as my EA and now is director of operations. Singh, Deepak, and Aman, all who started as either network technicians or general labor or like an entry-level role, that are all running their own teams now. It's been really interesting to see them grow.
What started you on your journey? Were you into Bitcoin and crypto before you started Digital Shovel, or did you kind of start Digital Shovel and get into it? How did this begin?
I got into Ethereum mining 2015, 2016 kind of thing. I more seriously in 2016, and then even more seriously in 2017. Converted a whole room in my condo, or converted 2 rooms in my condo. Had a whole bunch of graphics cards. Wanted to scale that a little bit more, and that led to me building a shipping container. And at the time, there weren't a lot of people in the space, and we built our first shipping container, used a bunch of trades, did it in a parking lot at the same facility that we're at right now. And then people started asking, hey, can you build one of those for me? Initially, my response was no. That wasn't the business. I just wanted to mine crypto. Things were going good at the time. But then the amounts of money they were offering to do that just kept going up and up. And I'm like, okay, maybe this has some wheels under it. We built our first container, and the rest was history. We slowly but surely learned how to do the different things that we were hiring external trades to do, bringing more and more of that in-house, not subbing out the metal cutting, not subbing out the forming, and then just continued to evolve to bring more and more things in-house to the point where we're at today.
What's your highest high? What did the top of the mountain feel like for you in retrospect? And I know
we're there right now. I mean, coin's at an all-time high. Yeah, it's looking like 2025 is going to be an absolutely amazing year. That's definitely the top of the mountain thus far, but I don't think we're all the way up.
It's not all highs. What's the low?
Oof.
When you think back and like, man, like that.
Having to sell all my coins at like the $3,100 low to cover payroll.
About when was that? Was that like the 2019-18 bear market?
No, not the 2018, 2019. It was 2019, I think. Yeah. I can't remember. I try to block that section out of my memory. Other dates, I try to remember. The highs, I remember. The lows, you do what you need to do to get done. I mean, in the long run, this has definitely paid off, and it was the right move to make. I typically just would prefer to mine and hold, and that's it with what I was doing. But I think I made the right choice.
Betting on yourself, betting on the business,
and betting on the people, right? Like, listen, they're there because they love the company, but they're also there for a paycheck, right? They're not invested in the ups and the downs of the business, right? So like, there's no reason that just because the business is down and the market's slow, that they should have to participate in those downs.
It's difficult, starting a business, starting a company. Startups are, historically, 80% plus fail within the first 2 years. And it's even more difficult because how many companies do we watch implode every bear market? I mean, it's wild. Why did you build Digital Shovel here in Toronto, Canada, not a historically cheap place to manufacture anything. And why didn't you send it overseas?
Well, first of all, why I chose here, I was based here, and that's, as we were scaling, I mean, I don't think in the early days I was thinking it was ever going to scale quite to this point. We had a unique opportunity in the building that we were in, that because it was predominantly vacant, I had an easy ability to just add one room at a time as we needed to within different portions of the building, which I think if we had to move and go look at other properties, there's a chance that I probably would have looked at maybe somewhere else, but I don't think it would have been outside of Toronto. Our people are our biggest asset, and if you move your company, the likelihood of them all relocating is slim to nil, and you're going to lose all of that. So that weighs really heavily into it. Compared to doing stuff overseas, we would lose the ability to be as vertically integrated as we are right now, and as a result of that, we wouldn't have the robust knowledge of the manufacturing process that allows us to customize our product in a way that somebody who is simply subbing everything out all the time wouldn't have. And then we also have that lag time, right? Like if you're wanting to do a prototype and you want to go change something, you want to go do a new design, we can sketch that up and then we can run to the back and have that prototype done. When I used to be more hands-on with the machines, I would sit back there with my laptop and literally try different things, cut it through the plasma cutter, take it over to the brake press right away, and be testing that within hours. Whereas if I had to send those pieces overseas or sub it out to another shop, every one of those little iterations would have been a day. And instead, I'm doing a different iteration every hour, which is something I like. And I like being hands-on with things. Like, I enjoy being hands-on with the process, understanding the process, and going back, and I geek out when it comes to the machines and the tooling and everything we have back there. It's even the machine installation, the acquiring of the machines, going to auctions and purchasing these different machines. It's an awesome part of the business that I wouldn't have it any other way.
Is this your first business?
No. So I've had several different startups. My first business was, I had some tech stuff in the early days, like on iTunes and stuff. But then I had my first real business was a printing company. I ran that for about 10 years. And then between the printing company and this company, I had a startup where you could rent cars for Uber drivers that would drive on a per hour basis through an app, which I still had when I was starting this company, but it was very capital intensive, and there's a lot of headaches. And I look at business in a dollar per headache factor, and crypto had a lot less headaches per dollar that I was going to make, which is why I decided to go this route.
Per Satoshi.
Yeah, exactly, right.
How'd you come up with the name Digital Shovel?
I was just trying to think of names, and I was drinking one night, and I remembered vaguely going on to GoDaddy and finding the digitalshovel.com, and all the rest of the handles were available. And I'm like, this is the perfect name. We're literally mining digital gold, so I'm going to sell shovels to the gold miners. So Digital Shovel is a perfect fit for it. I remember waking up in the morning, and I'm like, did I dream that? Or did I actually register that? And I went on, found the domain, and I had it. The rest is history.
You've been in the can registry ever since. I like the name. I think it's really on brand, purpose built. Why blue? Everything's blue.
Everything is. I paint everything blue and white. So I had to stay on brand. I don't know where the pick for blue. Like, I think it's a color I like. As a kid, I really liked the color red, and then I kind of transitioned to blue on a lot of things that I own, and I just enjoyed blue. Not on cars, but I just liked the color blue. And it worked well on the logo that I threw together. I used some AI software to it was an early version of it to throw together a logo. Like, the old original one was a slightly different version of a shovel, but it was still kind of square like that, or square edges, and just went with it.
So you're obviously growing, scaling. How do you find new employees, and how do you evaluate them that they're going to be likely a good fit here?
I mean, that's always a challenge. We have really good retention, generally speaking. However, not always in that first 3 months. Not everybody's going to be a perfect fit for the role. Other than now, some of the more entry-level roles, because we have a really robust recruiting team, I'd say up until 6 months ago, almost, at least in this round of employees, like, I tried to offload some of that to supervisors in the early days, and it didn't turn out all that well. We went through a relatively rough batch of hirees that we have, but what I was getting at is I try to interview, at least for a final interview, every single person that works at the company. And that's a one-to-one, might only be for 15 minutes, but I'll have a face-to-face with them. Not as much with, the entry-level mechanical assemblers, general labor, stuff like that as much anymore. But other roles, yeah, I'll have a one-to-one interview with almost every single person at the company. I know that's not scalable, but I think now we have our recruiting team, our new chief of staff that's helping to curate that whole process, that won't always be required. And then also, like, my more senior management, they know the culture that we want to maintain, because that's a challenge for any business owner as you scale your business, is trying to maintain that culture, because it's really, really easy to screw that up. Like, really easy. We've had a couple hires that we've had to let go of, that we tried to bring in for the senior management team, that just were rapidly destroying what we worked really hard to build. But yeah, just having a really good recruiting team.
It's crazy how quickly one person can ruin culture, ruin the vibe, just trash the morale. And you could have 9 people that are just, work so well together, everything's going great, and you add the 10th one, and it's just like the car won't start. It's just not working.
Yeah, and it's, fortunately we have a good team that, for the most part, they'll bring that up, and they know that we've got a culture that allows people to, have a closed door meeting, and you're not necessarily you're not telling on somebody, but you're raising your concerns, and regardless of what the role is, that X, Y, and Z is happening, I don't know that this is a good fit, or at least we should look into it to see if it's something that we can manage and steer in the right direction, or have to take other actions to resolve it.
Looking forward, what's next for Digital Shovel? More scaling, more products?
Definitely more scaling, definitely more products. We're going to be expanding our switchgear line into a dedicated switchgear and electrical infrastructure division, which will be under a different brand. Still same family of companies, but just targeted to general market. We will definitely be launching an immersion and possibly a hydro line, expanding our offerings on PDUs, and just continuing to evolve the product. We don't like to just stay stagnant. We don't like to just keep producing the same thing. As much of a pain in the ass it is to constantly be changing this stuff, that's what lets us stay on that bleeding edge and continue to produce what we like to think is some of the most innovative products in the market.
For anyone who wants to see a Digital Shovel Minipod, what kind of opportunities do you have for that? Like, if I just wanted to buy one, could I come to the factory, or do I need to find you at one of the mining conferences, and do you bring them there, or do you do private tours if you're a bulk buyer? How does that work?
So we welcome anybody to come to a plant tour. So we arrange those, and we usually have a pod that's running on site. We do have them at Mining Disrupt, and then several other shows, which we usually publish on our social media. And then there is some opportunity to visit client sites. The thing is, a lot of clients, they don't want somebody knowing where they got a whole bunch of miners locked in a tin can, for lack of a better word, that might not be monitored 24/7.
Thought it was aluminum.
Huh?
Thought it was aluminum or steel.
It is steel, not tin. You're right.
Aluminum.
Yeah. So it just with you. Do you want people coming and doing frequent tours at the Vosk farm?
I say no to everyone.
Exactly.
It's a security risk. It's never worth it.
It is, whether our clients are big or small. Unless it's a really large farm, but even then, the really large farm, they're like, I don't want you doing a tour through my facility. They might let us do it, but they don't want to bring strangers. So we just, as a policy, just say no. Even if it's somebody well, I know the client, I know the guy, can you ask him if it's okay? I'd rather not get in the middle of it. You can reach out on different forums. People are familiar with the product, and they can check it out there. We do generally try to have a Minipod and a Nanopod running at the facility at all times that somebody can come in and see.
So, Scott, what inspired your journey? Like, why do you do this, and why'd you do it all yourself?
I think that really goes back to my father and my grandfather. So we grew up on a marina in the country, and that was not the kind of marina where like everybody goes, hangs out, and has a bunch of boats on docks and everything. It was just a repair marina, and you couldn't get things out there as easily as you can today. So I just grew up around seeing them just build everything for themselves. If you needed something, they had welders, they had the ability to do their own wiring. And that was in my blood. That was something that I was taught at a young age. And I mean, it shows through in this business.
That's incredible. It's crazy how your early days in life can just like give you these core memories and like this like core development that will just impact and shape you for the rest of your life. You see that and it like became real for you. And so like you've made that your true reality here is you guys build anything and everything you want basically in-house. Or not basically, actually, simply.
Yeah, I mean, they really ingrained the, like, you can, it's cliche, but you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And it's true. It's like, it's not, I remember when we thought we were getting into making our own circuit boards. Ben's like, I'm not going to do that in house, but he's an amazing engineer, but like it's just like the mindset of just like, okay, well, we're just going to buy it and figure out how to do it. Doesn't always translate, but that's something that was just ingrained in me from a very young age.
Incredible. Well, I appreciate your time, Scott. This is a really cool way to just kind of peek inside your head with all this stuff, because you got a lot going on, and it's been really cool to see the way that you've continued to grow and develop over even just the last few years while I've been following you, and your story goes back over 7 years now, and I'm just starting to see what you do next too.
Oh, we're both along for the ride.
Hey, that's right. Let's go.